Have you ever wondered how people in the past dealt with devastating sexual diseases without the help of modern medicine? Brace yourself for a gruesome journey through history as we uncover the horrifying truths about sexually transmitted diseases that plagued royalty and commoners alike. Let's dive in. In ancient times, sexually transmitted diseases, or STDs, were a constant and deadly threat to societies across the globe. Without the advanced medical treatments, antibiotics, and understanding we have today, people were ill-equipped to deal with these devastating diseases, which often led to severe health problems, social stigma, and even death. Syphilis and gonorrhea were two of the most common and notorious STDs in Europe during the Middle Ages, wreaking havoc on the lives of many, including royalty, nobility, and commoners alike. During the Middle Ages, the general understanding of diseases and their transmission was extremely limited. Medical knowledge was based on ancient Greek and Roman texts, with little progress made in understanding the true causes and mechanisms of disease transmission. As a result, many people were unaware of the dangers of sexual contact with infected individuals and the importance of practicing good hygiene to prevent the spread of infections. This lack of understanding and awareness contributed to the widespread transmission of STDs, particularly syphilis and gonorrhea. Syphilis, a highly contagious and debilitating disease, was known for causing skin lesions, joint pain, and eventually significant damage to the heart, brain, and other organs if left untreated. The disease was so feared and widespread that it was often referred to as the Great Pox in Europe. On the other hand, gonorrhea was a more localized infection, but still caused considerable pain and discomfort. This bacterial infection could lead to painful inflammation of the genital and urinary tracts, potentially resulting in infertility and other long-term health complications. The social consequences of contracting an STD during the Middle Ages were also significant. People suffering from these diseases were often ostracized and shunned by their communities, as their visible symptoms were seen as a mark of immorality and divine punishment for their sins. This social stigma only served to exacerbate the suffering of those affected, as they were often denied the support and care they needed to cope with their illnesses. In some instances, the devastating impact of STDs even had far-reaching political implications. As mentioned earlier, many members of European royalty were affected by these diseases, leading to significant disruptions in the line of succession and shifts in the balance of power. The inability of kings and queens to produce healthy heirs due to the effects of STDs could even result in the collapse of entire dynasties and dramatic changes in the political landscape. Syphilis, caused by Treponema pallidum, progresses through 4 stages: primary, secondary, latent, and tertiary. Each stage presents different symptoms, with severe complications and even death in the tertiary stage. Gonorrhea, caused by Neisseria gonorrhoeae, affects the mucous membranes of the reproductive and urinary tracts, causing inflammation and discharge. If untreated, it can lead to severe complications like chronic pain, infertility, and life-threatening conditions. One challenge in controlling syphilis and gonorrhea is that many infected individuals don't experience noticeable symptoms, unknowingly transmitting the infections to their partners. Early diagnosis and treatment are crucial for preventing complications. Historically, syphilis and gonorrhea treatments involved using toxic substances like mercury or arsenic, causing severe side effects and even death. The 20th century discovery of antibiotics, such as penicillin, provided effective treatments. The origins of syphilis and gonorrhea remain a topic of debate among historians and medical experts. As we delve into the various theories and hypotheses surrounding the emergence of these diseases, valuable insights illustrate how they have shaped human history and continue to impact society today. One prominent theory surrounding the origin of syphilis suggests that the disease was brought to Europe by the crew of Christopher Columbus, following their exploration of the New World. This theory is supported by the fact that the first recorded outbreak of syphilis in Europe coincided with the return of Columbus and his crew in the late 15th century. Proponents of this theory argue that the crew contracted syphilis from the indigenous people they encountered during their voyage and subsequently spread the disease throughout Europe upon their return. However, other researchers argue that syphilis was already present in Europe prior to Columbus's voyages, albeit in a less virulent form. They point to evidence from archaeological and historical records, which suggest the existence of syphilis-like diseases in ancient Greece, Rome, and the Middle Ages. This theory proposes that the disease may have evolved over time, becoming more aggressive and recognizable as the syphilis we know today. The origins of gonorrhea are similarly debated. Some historians believe the disease spread from Tahiti to New Zealand, which occurred during the Cook expeditions in the 18th century, as sailors and explorers came into contact with new populations and engaged in sexual activities. Regardless of their true origins, the impact of syphilis and gonorrhea on history is undeniable. These diseases have caused immense suffering and death, particularly among vulnerable populations and in times of war and social unrest. The ongoing quest to understand their origins serves as a reminder of the importance of continued research and public health efforts to combat these and other sexually transmitted infections. The tragic stories of royals afflicted by sexually transmitted diseases and other hereditary ailments serves as a testament to the devastating impact these illnesses had on the lives of people throughout history. Henry VIII, the notorious Tudor king known for his 6 marriages, is believed to have suffered from syphilis. This theory is supported by his leg ulcer, which some historians argue could be a sign of the disease. Similarly, Ivan V, also known as Ivan the Terrible, was a powerful and feared ruler who is believed to have contracted syphilis during his tumultuous reign. The discovery of high mercury levels in his remains supports this theory, as mercury was commonly used as a treatment for syphilis in the past. The impact of the disease on Ivan's life, combined with his brutal leadership style, makes for a chilling story of power and suffering. Charles VII of France was another royal figure who suffered from syphilis. The rapid spread of the disease during his siege of Naples highlights the vulnerability of entire populations during times of conflict and upheaval. As the disease ravaged Europe, countless lives were lost, and King Charles's story serves as a reminder of the far-reaching consequences of these illnesses. Although Queen Victoria did not suffer from a sexually transmitted disease herself, she was a carrier of hemophilia, a genetic blood clotting disorder that affected many of her descendants. The spread of this disease through the royal bloodlines of Europe underscores the impact that hereditary conditions can have on families and societies, even among those who hold immense power and wealth. The grim reality of STDs in history highlights the challenges faced by people who had no access to the advanced medical treatments we enjoy today. In a world where antibiotics and other modern therapies were non-existent, people struggled with the consequences of these devastating diseases. Sexual diseases were not only widespread, but also often carried a social stigma, further complicating the lives of those affected. The suffering endured by royals such as Henry VIII, Ivan IV, and Charles VII underscores the indiscriminate nature of these infections, which spared no one, regardless of social status or power. The lack of effective treatments often led to severe complications and even death, leaving a trail of tragedy and heartache in their wake. The harsh reality of STDs in history also highlights the resilience of humanity in its ongoing quest for knowledge and understanding. As we continue to develop new treatments and preventative strategies, we must remember the countless lives that were lost to these diseases and strive to prevent future suffering. The stories of these royal victims of STDs serve as a cautionary tale, urging us to be ever vigilant in the fight against these devastating infections. Thank you for joining us on this shocking journey through the history of sexual diseases. We hope this video has given you a deeper understanding, impressing upon you the terrifying consequences these infections had on the lives of people in the past. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with more fascinating and gruesome facts from history. If you have any thoughts or questions about today's video, please let us know in the comments below.